just need some sun. Some warmer weather. The tea's nice today. Liquid. I don't have much left in the can. That's always been my challenge, is that everything I paint I touch for some reason. These are these rounded corners. I found this works the best for me. Just sort of go up, do another round of paint, and then just lightly touch this side, lightly touch this side. And then the tipping part, just run your brush along and don't panic. If you've got some drips, just work them out with the brush. And then what happens is the paint kind of melts together. I don't know what the right expression is, but every time I deploy some paint down, this is the tack that I take. And then by doing a foot at a time, I kind of know where I am. So do a foot, because it's getting hard to see. It's pretty white. Bought this boat with very little, had no working engine, no instruments, and I gutted it, I pulled the engine out, and then I decided to go electric. So I put an electric motor in and had a whole learning curve about that. So I learned about batteries and charging systems and wiring and house banks, all the different solar panel and monitoring systems. And that's what this channel is about. It's about sharing the knowledge that I learned, documenting my journey as I retrofitted this boat. I'm looking forward to next year. Next year I'm going to be taking the boat out to the coast, into the ocean, and I'm looking forward to that. So hopefully you can follow along and join me. Hey everybody, so yeah, got her done, top coat down. Took me 45 minutes just to do this little bit with the actual layout. About half an hour prep, cleaning with acetone and things, so it looks really good. Pretty happy with it. I went around with the light and I looked for drips. I'm trying to be really close, but everything looks really good. The back rest is done here. So now I've got 2 coats pretty much on everything. And yeah, I'm just washing out the brush, some acetone, and just doing a little cleanup, and off to work. Hey everybody, so I'm working on the Victron Touch 50 install. I used to have it there. I just moved it over just a smidgen because I want to reroute the cable on the back to go just straight across and then down the wall. And it's a little tight right here. It used to be right here. So I'm going to move it just to here, just a little bit over. And I tried it last year and I did like it, because when I'm inside I can look up and I can do a couple things, but it was high enough that when I was outside looking in I could check the display as well, or I could do a quick step here and take a look at it. It was important to me because sometimes when I was on the engine or the motoring, I just wanted to know what I was doing, but I didn't want to crawl in or look around, so I could just kind of poke my head and look at it. And then from here as well, it's just a general system diagnostic, so it's out of the way. So over here, this is the back side. So this is how I constructed all of my walls and everything. So I've got the kind of like a hardwood frame, and then I put insulation in between, and then this is the plywood, fiberglass on the other side. So this side has plywood still to go on it, and then fiberglass. I haven't finished in here yet. This is where it was. I just moved it over a smidgen, mainly because the cord was down here, and I think what I want to do is I'm just going to take the cord and go straight across, and I'm going to take out a section of the pipe, because after I finish the inside here, I don't know how I would ever pull the cable out. So it'll be an adventure to fish it, but going through here the way I had it, I think it'd be impossible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take out a chunk off of these 3 pieces, and then I'm going to fish or route my cable in there. So anyways, before I complete the inside, I'll have to figure out some way to make it so that I could ever access this again. So I think there's going to be one piece here that's not permanently installed, whether it be the top piece or what. And I guess what makes this a little bit more difficult, this being the head, I also want it to be the shower. So there's going to be a little shower in here, so I didn't want it to get wet. So it's got to be a solid piece. So I got to think about how to do this here for a bit. But in the meantime, I'm just going to move it a bit, and then I'm going to cut some new access holes for the wire routing. Straight right there. My thing out. Okay. My heater. So this will go through here. I hope I got my hole in the right spot. Look at the inside. It's a little tight. I'm just going to make the hole bigger inside. Basically, the cord's kind of pushes itself a little funny there, so. So interestingly, Victron gives you a little tool, a pop-out tool. So I'm going to have to keep a hold of this, and essentially what they want you to do is put it in the side and then use it to lever it out. So I'm going to do it. Get it in here once. There we go. And that's how you get it out, with this little tool. So the first piece is this one, which goes here, USB, and then the HDMI. So that gets plugged in there, and then this is what you got. Alarm. Grid lost. There's my system. So this is why I like this. I got 100% charge. I'm sucking out 49 volts, charging up my battery right now. My AC load is 48 watts. So I got 49 coming in from the sun, and I don't have anything on shore because I'm not plugged in. Generally speaking, I don't plug in anymore. With the 800 watts, it's more than enough to run the fridge solid. After 2.5 days, that seems to be when my batteries are down to 60%. So I think it would just depend if I had the motor. I'm going to pick up a generator this summer, a little like a Honda generator, like a little small one, but it'll be enough to give me 1800 watts or 3000 watts. There's two I'm looking at, and then I'm pretty much off grid. So it's just, if there's an emergency, use the generator. That's what it's for. Yeah, so there we go. That's the Victron install. Back in business. Hey everybody, just doing a motor test here. I'm just trying to run my batteries down to depletion, just to check the voltage levels to see if they match up with what my thoughts are. So I've been running it since 12, so it's almost 2 hours, and I'm at 48% with 50.8 volts, and I've been running 1600 watts out of it basically for the last 2 hours. In the beginning, I had my solar charging on, and I was charging somewhere between 200 and 300 watts. So it was really about 1300 watts. So somewhere in the middle, actually right at 1, I stopped it, and I put the charger into whatever they call that, maintenance mode. So that's why it's showing me 0 here now. And then I've been watching the motor temperature sensor, so it's showing me 65 on the controller, and it's basically went kind of quick to 51, 52, and then it's petering out there at 64. So temperature's good. Nothing's going to overheat, but I'm going to run out of energy. So I'm going to run out of energy before I overheat anything. So I've got all of my cooling running and everything else right now. All the fans and the pumps are going on. So what I'm doing right now while I'm waiting is I taped up the side of these bump strips. These are stainless steel. I had them custom made for me, and I'm just going to put some Sikaflex and then slip them in here, press them, and then I'm going to grab some tape and then just tape them in so that if any liquid squeezes out, I guess this is my idea, if any liquid squeezes out, it'll come on the tape, then I can peel the tape out once it's all settled and I'm done. So I'm just going to stop this here now. Just went underneath 19% according to calculations. Voltage is at 50 volts. So it's been a steady decline. I'm getting 50.02 on the battery monitor. This is the one directly attached to the monitor, 50.01. My BMV, 50.02, 50.01. So basically we're like 0.01 in discrepancy, now showing 18%. And the way that I understand lithium to work is that it just starts to do a really sharp decline. So I just wanted to keep it running till I got to 50 volts. So you can see it hopping in between 50 volts. So still continuing to run 1600 watts here. $1,600 We got 0 coming in. And from my understanding is that it's just going to cut out. The motor temperature cutoff is actually set to 44 volts. So the motor will still continue to try to run even as the voltage goes down. So I'm showing 49.99898. So I'm pretty certain that this is just going to start tanking in voltage. So it's kind of like a really slow decline. And it's going a lot faster now, 3097. So it's just right on that curve, the precipice on the graph. So I'm going to turn it off, but basically it is now 240. So we ran from 12. 12. So basically 2 hours 40 minutes at 1600 watts, and then for the first hour I had 200 to 300 coming in. So it's not quite fair. It's like 1300, and then now it's 1600. But I also boiled the tea out of there too, so everything else is working pretty good. Motor controller 66, it hasn't changed. So when I was doing my initial tests, I was seeing the temperatures with the heat gun kind of doing about the same, 64, 65, just depends where you put it. But it's not at 120 where it shuts off. So it's basically running at half temperature. And it's been running for 2.5 hours. So I'm pretty confident that the setup that I've got going on here now is working out well. So I'm going to upload some graphs, and then I'll just kind of talk about where things happen so you get a real world example of what's happening. Plugged into shore, a little faster here charging with my my grade A. I'm only getting 100, you can see here 100 watts on the sun. So I'm getting pretty much peaked out here, 35 amps going into the battery. So 2000 watts coming from shore. And it's a 30 amp system, so it's working as good as it's going to go. It's a slow one. Working on the upper deck, getting the new anti-skid down. Alright, just finishing up here today. So I got this trim installed using Sikaflex 291 to glue it to the corner. It's basically the corner bumper. So that way if we're walking, carrying something and we walk into it, we don't chip the corner away. I have another one here and another one here. So I'm going to do one at a time to glue them in. Basically I'll wait till tomorrow and then I'll undo those clamps. I'll put them here and then I'll do the last one here. But the galley is all done now. Got double coats. It's looking good. Really happy with the Settee. Got the speakers back into the galley. And okay, here's the adventure. There's always something, eh? So I was looking at my cooler, my fully enclosed cooler, my fridge, and it works awesome. It's 35 liters, and this space right here is almost perfect for another one, and I can make it be a freezer. So my problem is this is 14 and a half, this is 13, and the width of the cooler is exactly 13.6. So I need this to be 14 and this to be 14. So I need to cut this, and then at the very back there, I've got to actually go back and take the fiberglass backing out and then slide this a half an inch that way and then trim this in just a little skinnier so that it's the same thickness as this, or the same width. Right now this is wider than this on this side. This is flush, but on this side it's not. There's like a gap. So if I can do that, move this a half an inch and then recut this side to be flush, I can make that 14. So 14, 14, and it'll be exactly 14 in the back and on each side. So it's parallel. It's like perfect. The only thing is I wish I would have thought about that before, because I said I won't need a freezer. So I'm going to have freezer on these nice little pull-out shelves. Self-retracting, they work really good. I got locked out of the shipyard for COVID, and I only got one coat down of Anti-Slip, and it's not the greatest, and I never did finish the top. So I'm taking the opportunity here to do that. I've got a half decent day tomorrow and an even better day Saturday, so I'm thinking that I'll be able to get 2 coats down up on the deck, and then providing it dries on time, I'll be able to get the anti-skid all along the bow. And then I'm working on the cockpit area here. That'll be last, but it's coming up. So we're getting close to having her done. Everything on the outside anyway. And then on the inside, I finally got all of this done on the inside. It's looking like a wall now. Got my Victron Energy Touch. It's the VE Touch going, and the galley is all done. I got to put the cupboard doors back on, but those are all done. And what I'm working on here now is I just got to get this braced in. I decided to permanently fix this bulkhead, and I beefed it up by putting 4 layers on each side of the 12 ounce. But I'm adding a 5th, so I'm going to have 60 ounces of fiberglass basically wedging this in. So I've got one more piece to go over, and then I'm going to be skinning that and painting it, and it'll be white like everything else here. I think I like the white theme because there's a lot of other things that aren't white in the boat. So, and then the V-berth is this weekend. While I'm waiting for the paint to dry, I'm going to sand in here and get the V-berth ready to put the last coat of Interlux, and then I just need to get the cushions back in, and we've got a workable space here for the summer. Looks really good.
Right now, Dad's just painting the anti-skid paint on the deck.
The ruler doesn't quite fit underneath the cleat there. Got the interdeck done on the lower deck, so we're basically about done all of the anti-slip, and that sunset looks amazing. some of the tape off there. Looking like white on white. Over by the anchor, there was some areas that the chain rubbed, and I think I didn't get enough sanding, scratching, so I peeled up just right there and a little bit there, but so far everywhere in the middle has been solid. No peeling all the way down the edges. Basically the fresh paint you can see right there between the mason cleat and just in front of the mason cleat there, there's one strip. So I'm just gonna have to give it a light sand and then touch it up. Overall, it's coming out really well. There's something just satisfying about this. Tack over there and take down the sails.